Alright, so finally it's time to do part 2 of the BlackVue camera install. Part 1, I got it installed here and in the back as well, but I did not run the wires correctly, or at least not the way I wanted to. So it's not currently hardwired. So the wires are running, the power wire runs underneath the headliner here, all the way down the A-pillar, and then back behind the trim, into the footwell, under the mat, and comes out somewhere here, and plugs in there. So that's not what I want, because this is the camera will not run when the car is off, so it's not going to have motion detection or impact detection enabled. So basically you want to get rid of that and hardwire it back behind this trim piece here. So let me go ahead and pop that open. Alright, so this one's actually really easy to get open. You just, if you can get your fingers behind it, you can just pop it down and it comes right out. And the whole thing actually comes out as well. There's a couple little kind of hinge type things on the back that clip in the top. But yeah, you can pull the whole thing out, and that's step 1. Step 2 is to see if you have this connector here. And if you do, that will give you 5 volts. I think it's the green wire I need to confirm. I think green is 5, red might be 12. Black, of course, is as usual, is ground. So this is taped in. Just gotta untape it, and that's going to be pretty much a standard 4-pin connector you can get from like a CPU fan from your computer. So I went ahead and did that. I'll have to put the video here of me taking that apart. But yeah, basically I just need to connect it here, run the wire up in here, and store it somewhere. Probably need to make some more room, because this one's already taking up all the space here. But I think I can shove some wires back in there somewhere. Yeah, on either side should be fine. And there's actually plenty of room underneath the headliner in this gap here. There's probably at least ½ an inch of room underneath this. So there's plenty of room for me to shove wires into. So anyway, that's the plan. I'm going to go inside and start getting the actual connector wired up. Alright, so I got my handy dandy voltmeter, multimeter over here, and I was able to unclip the case on, or I guess, I don't know what to call it, the lid sort of thing that holds the wires in place. That's actually snaps right open. So that will give me access to the pins. So just, not planning on taking these wires out, but the order is blank, black, green, red, just in case. So I get the black going here, and hopefully you can see the voltmeter. So green is measuring at 10 volts, red is 14 volts. So I guess we'll just go with the green. Let's see, the car's off right now, just to be clear. So it is 10 volts and 14. So that's a good sign. Alright, so my buddy Max is in the car now, right here, doing some drawing. There's one more thing. I was going to test it when I turn the car on to see what changes. So, again, green wire is 10 volts, car on, still 10 as you'd expect. And the other one, a little less than 14 now, but pretty much 14. So yeah, those are definitely on all the time, so that is good, and that's going to work great. So I'll go ahead and go back in and start wiring some stuff up. Alright, so inside now, and I'm going to wire up this 12 volt outlet that I got here. This one just nothing special about it, just the outlet and the wiring. 2 wires, obviously. And I got some of these fan, 4-pin CPU fan extension cables. So that's male on one side and female on the other. and I'm going to use that. So obviously you see here I already have it. I removed the shielding, which I'll put back on. It's pretty cool. It's kind of like a Chinese finger trap. And I cut a decent length of wire off of it, and obviously I'm using the female end. So the connector in the car, it'll plug in. If it was plugging in like this here, it would be gray, green, and then black. So we're going to use gray and black. We're not going to use green. So basically I'm going to use pins 2 and 4 in this view, but I'm going to go ahead and take all the wires out, and I'm going to use black and red for those connections and get rid of the yellow and blue. So these ones are actually really easy to take out if you have a very fine instrument you can stick in here. Basically you're sticking it in, if you have it facing you so that the gaps are on the top, you stick it inside the top of the pin. It's easier to do it kind of from this angle here. There's a little bit of room in there, and you can sort of wiggle it around and get the wire out. They come out pretty easy. So you don't have to just keep on pulling on them. Just kind of wiggle a little bit and it comes out. So again, I'm going to get rid of the yellow and the blue and use the black and the red. So black is going to go back into position 2, I'd call it, and it goes in, if you're holding it this way, the flat side goes in there. Actually, first, before you do that, there's a tiny little tab here. You just need to pry that up a little bit so that it will snap back in place. So we'll do that with both of these. Just give it a little bit of a pry so it doesn't slide back out. Alright, so that little tab faces up if you're holding the thing like this. So go ahead and pin 2, and you can feel it snap in place, and then pin 4. Good to go. I need to figure out what length I need to cut this to so that this fits appropriately. I could actually cut this smaller if I want to, but I think I'll just use the whole thing and I can wrap it up. So I'm going to do that now. Alright, so I got some thicker heat shrink tubing to put over these wires here, and I put this stretchy wire sheath thingy on as well. You can see it's a little bit longer than the wire is itself. The wires are actually right at the end there. So I'm going to trim these wires back probably to here, and pull this thing back and secure it. Then I can connect these at the appropriate length and have it all kind of work together. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and heat shrink this one just so it'll sort of hold in place. I got my trusty whatever this thing is called, hot air gun. There we go. Looks good. Okay, so that one came out pretty good. See there? It's got a nice fit. So that's good stuff. Alright, so now I'll pull this end back and get the wires out of there. I'm just going to pull this way back. Let me just verify how long I want to make it first. So I think I'm going to cut them both around here. So I'll just go ahead and snip these now. I'm going to snip those ones around here as well. So let me pull this back out of the way. Alright. Pull this sheath all the way back so it's just not in the way at all, and I have a little zip tie I'm going to put on it to keep it back there. It's going to be easier than having to keep moving it out of the way. So now that is out of the way and we're good to go. Just get that. Alright, next I'm going to strip these wires and get them ready. Alright, so I had a couple blunders there, but finally the finished product is here. Alright, so 12 volt socket here. Got this nice little braided thingy, lots of heat shrink, and that's it, just the 2 pins in there. we're good to go. So I'm going to let it cool for a minute, and then we'll go see if it works. Hopefully it works. We'll see. Alright, back in the car here. Yeah, do this quick. My camera battery, my phone battery's about to die. So I'm going to pop this back out. Got my taped up connector here. And my new fancy connector, right? So let's see. So actually in the other video just a minute ago, I said that this wire was gray. It's actually red. So we're doing red to red, black to black. Connect those up. Now I'm going to unplug the BlackVue from the accessory outlet, and it is now just turned off. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in and see if it turns back on.
Restarting.
There you go. So it says it's restarting. So that's a good sign. That means it's getting power. So let me just give it a minute. I wasn't actually able to get this whole plug to fit. This thing is, I guess I didn't really think about it, but it's bigger than you think it would be, or at least bigger than I was thinking. So it definitely did not fit up in this area at all. Once this is back in there, there's definitely not enough room, because they have this flat piece right here in the middle. If that wasn't there, it would fit, because there would be plenty of room sort of in between those two wire harnesses to sit down in there, but that's not the case, and I don't want to go start tearing this thing apart. So I started looking for other areas, and there's a lot of room up underneath here. You can see in there, but it's still not enough, honestly. So the best spot that I can find right now is right here in the middle of the sunroof, right behind here. I don't know if I can get in there or not. Alright, so back in here, hard to tell, but there is this area here between my fingers is open, at least pretty much open, and there is enough room in there to fit it, although you're still going to be able to see it a little bit here, and it's not great. So I think this is going to be yet another temporary solution, and the real solution, unfortunately, is going to be to run a wire from here down somewhere else where I can stash this thing. So probably run it back here somewhere. Maybe there's room over here, or maybe even back down to the kick panel. I'd have to look around to see where there's room. Probably down by the speaker. There's got to be some extra room back in there. So maybe that is required, but it's just unfortunate. I was really hoping that it would just fit in there. And obviously I could just chop this cable and use that, but they have this nice warning here that specifically says, hey, don't cut the cable because it voids your warranty. So maybe I'd rather not do that. Maybe they have special circuitry inside this that came with the BlackVue that is doing any kind of protection or something. Not sure, so I'm just trying to avoid doing that. But anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and shove it up in here for now, and figure out a better plan later. So I'll do that now. Alright, so got the plug here, power that is, and I already ran it in here, but I gotta undo it because, well, you will see why. So let me go ahead and do that. So again, I didn't show it before, or maybe I did, but I pull this down here and it kind of slides out. This is actually a really nice soft plastic. It's a pretty nice touch. And then grab my pry tool, which this one actually came with the BlackVue. It's got the narrow side here. You can put the narrow side right up in this corner. There we go. Try not to destroy anything. So that comes down. Probably only need to really do it on the one side there, because just enough so that you can pry the headliner down. So I'll pull this back through. This was kind of slightly annoying to get through the first time, so hopefully, hopefully it'll be, well, probably be just as annoying the second time. So I can pull that back. Alright, so the next step, find the end of this cord that I just pulled out and feed it down through here into the opening down there. There it is. So that's not too bad. So I'll pull some of the slack through for now. Just have to run this back through here and plug it in. So again, I drop this down and I'm going to have to pull down on the headliner here. When you do that, you want to do it evenly, so don't just use one finger to pull down. Use multiple spaced across, so, or 2 hands, so that you don't accidentally crease it. Pretty sure that's a possibility, so I'm just going to try to be careful of that. So anyway, I'm running this through the corner here. Same place the wire for the rear camera. That was extremely annoying, actually. But in the end, I found a little trick. If you pull up on the very corner here, pull down on the corner, I mean, you can easily see straight through on the inside here to where you need to go, and then it's much easier to get the wire through. That was still really frustrating, but it's through now. So basically, it's just time to plug it in and do some cleanup. So I'm going to pull through just what I need. I need to get a couple more wire clips. I think, if I recall, they only included 2, and I don't think both wires will fit in there. Maybe they will. They kind of fit, but I don't think it's intended for 2 wires. Anyway, that is a small detail I'll worry about later. For now, just to make sure everything's back in place. And close that back up there. This other trim piece back on. This has a groove on each side there, so that little piece there goes in the groove. So just make sure you line it correctly. And then there's 4 little tabs, 2 on each side. Just need to kind of pinch them in as you're pushing up, and that should do it. Alright, so now I can pull the slack the rest of the way through. And basically I'm done in here. I'm done in here now, so I'll go ahead and hook this back up. I think these are the temperature sensors, that's my guess, for left and right. That goes right back on like that, nice and easy. Alright, so this is the driver's side corner of the sunroof. I think what's going to make the most sense is to run this wire in the groove all the way to the corner, and then bundle it up and just kind of shove it in here. I said before, there's a decent amount of room. That worked okay. It's down, tucked in there. You can't really tell. You can't tell it all from inside the car for sure. You can see the yellow tag. Actually, that's a reflection of the yellow tag that's on the wire. The yellow tag is in the inside there. You can see it's reflecting up on the plastic. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to do the same thing along the other edge and in this corner with the rear view camera wire, which you can see sticking out here. I'll just wrap it up just like I did the power cable, and just also put it in this side. Alright, all done. Everything's cleaned up. I'm sitting in the back, so here's the view from the back. You can't see any of the wires, which is a good thing. You can't really even see the plug, which you can see this foam sticking out here, but you can't actually see the plug. Like if you were sitting in here, I don't think you would even notice at all, unless I happen to point it out. But up close, of course, you can start to see there's something in there. But yeah, it's actually hidden better than I expected. So I think it's going to work for now. Next thing I want to do is move the rear view camera, or keep it there, but run the wire under that trim piece there instead of around the front of it. So that would require me to run the wire itself through the grommet, the flexible grommet that runs up to the trunk, the lid of the trunk. So yeah, that should be interesting. So look for that next time. See ya.